Gun Nation, how's everyone doing this evening? We've got 3 people in here, 3 thumbs up already. That's awesome. Hello, Lake Ozark guy. How are you doing? Looks like you were the first one in, or that I can see. And you got the crown. You got the #1 crown. So I'm sure more people will jump in here in just a second. Been waiting on this, so I'll go ahead and get a little cheers here. Cheers, everyone. Well, I actually just saw it pop up. It says Big Johnson's live. That's the first time that's happened. Hello, Rich B. How are you? Trigger Bar is in the house. Hope y'all are all doing well. Yeah, and I want to talk about a video. I sent it to Trigger Bar and to some other people. Thought it was kind of cool. Hey, Link's Defense is in the house. Makes the best bags in the business. If y'all need a great bag, suppressor cover, pistol bag, rifle bag, backpack, check out Link's Defense. Hope y'all are all doing well. But I did, hello Lynn Holt. I did see a kind of a cool video. This guy was in Florida and he was hunting pigs. I guess he goes like in the back of these houses out into these open fields, kind of jungle looking thing because it's Florida. And he hunts pigs, and he was hunting them with a 5.7, an M&P 5.7 dead air mask, a dot, but he didn't have a flashlight on it. And he's out there sniping pigs. It's pretty cool. But he ended up getting 3 pigs, 2 were pregnant. So he took out, I think it was like a total of 11 or 12 that night. I mean, with the piglets, inside, of course. But so yeah, he was doing it with a 5.7 pistol, so I thought that was kind of cool. Have y'all ever hunted pigs with a 5.7 pistol? And it actually got me fired up for my rock. I've been wanting my wife to shoot it, so I started playing around with it tonight. And I had the Streamlight TLR1 on it, but I was like, how about I take the TLR9 and put on it to try it? That's the light for that 5.7, man. That thing fits it perfectly. It's got that slim rail, and that TLR9 is real slim. Like it looks good on a 5-inch 1911 or 2011. It looks really good and fits really good on that Rock 5.7. With the threaded barrel, they're almost equal to the light bezel and the end of the thread. Almost equal. I think the light's just a tad longer, but it looks really good on that gun. So, and if y'all want to see it, I'll throw a picture of it up on the thumbnail after this chat's over so you can check it out. But I was like, that looks pretty cool. Of course, I don't have a holster for it, for the Rock with the TLR9, and I don't think Armsman, I think we talked about it before, and he doesn't make one for the Rock yet. So, but, and I've been kind of hinting about, but I've got to get some more rounds down that Rock 5.7 just to make sure that it's running perfectly. I've never had a problem with it. It's always ran, but I want to run more ammo through it, different types of ammo, like more of a, spicy ammo. To make sure it's going to function correctly. So I did buy the spicy ammo. I've got some of it. It's kind of like the VMAX. Trigger Bar recommended it, and PSA had it on for sale. It's a Fiocchi, like a VMAX 40 grain. So I did buy, I don't know how many boxes of it. I think it was like 400 rounds, 450 rounds of it. I don't remember, but I grabbed it when it was on sale. So hopefully it works well. So we got 11 on, 3 thumbs up. I haven't seen any more comments. Hopefully YouTube's not doing its weird stuff that it does to me sometimes. Trigger Bar says 5.7 can get it done. It was getting it done on that, yeah. And yeah, that is true. Trigger Bar, it is so lightweight. And with that TLR9, it's so slim, you don't have that big bezel like you do on the TLR1 or even the Surefire. It's just that slim line. And man, that would be like the perfect slimline carry option. You know, this guy on that video, he had his dead air on it and had it like in this little, I don't know, it's like one of those Uncle Mike's looking thing, but it was a chest rig. And I was like, I don't really like that setup, but you know, it worked for him. So, and I don't know if he had one racked in the chamber or one in the chamber or not when he was carrying it, but he had a good point. You know, if you got it on your hip with the suppressor, you know, and you're bending down and stuff like that, you're gonna stick the end of the suppressor in the mud. So probably probably a good idea you don't do that. But it is crazy that it holds 23 rounds. What is it? Is it 23 plus one or is it 22 plus one? I can't remember. Oh yeah, I'm sure they're not trigger bar. I would kind of want the, you know, like a Kydex, some kind of a Kydex version, even if the suppressor stuck out of the bottom. I think that, you know, just in case you banged it or something like that. Rich B says, does the rock come in black and also in tan? Yeah, it comes in black, tan. Gosh, they had for Halloween, they had an orange frame. They have a green frame. I mean, they have all different colors in the 5.7s. I think the most popular are the tan, the black, and the OD green. And I think the OD green frame would look cool. The frames are only 89 bucks. And it's a complete frame, so when you buy it, it's got the trigger, it's got everything in it. But they're only $89, but you do go through your FFL because it's, you know, a frame and it's serialized. 23 plus one, that's what I thought. Yeah, I've seen those extendos. I've never used one of the extendos, but they do look cool. So what does that make it, like 33 or something like that? 30, yeah, something like that. But, yeah, right before the chat, I was trying to get in here. My wife was hanging something in the garage, so I had to use my impact real quick to hammer it up on the wall with the studs. I have to watch for that mag and bag sale. They run time to time, yeah. Yeah, I got when I got mine, it was the gun. You know, it was an optic ready version with a threaded barrel because I wanted it for my suppressor. And then it came with 10 mags in a bag, and it was like, trigger bar, do you remember what I paid for that? Was it $3.99 or $4.29 or something? I don't remember what it was. What's up, Pranic? How are you? Trigger bar says, thoughts on the PSA mixtape volume 1? I can't figure out the weight. Yeah, $3.99, that's what I got it for. Yeah, that was a hell of a deal. I can't figure out the weight. I mean, it is a 1 in 5 twist, 300 blackout. It looks like kind of a little chunky guy. I mean, I don't know what the weight is. You know, I don't know that. I've seen it, and I've seen the guy shooting it. And I mean, it looks pretty cool if you don't already have one. You know, I've got a few of those. I think you do too. But for somebody who doesn't have one, it might work out pretty well. The Q makes the honey badger so lightweight. Yeah, theirs are very lightweight. I don't know if it would be that lightweight as the Q, but for the price, you know, I mean, I know it's a lot cheaper. And you know, the Q has 2 versions. They have the honey badger where the suppressor, you know, it was a 2-tack stamp gun where the suppressor goes under the rail. But I have a buddy who has one, and he said it gets pretty warm under that rail, so you definitely have to have a hot pocket or a glove if you're going to shoot it a lot. And then, of course, they make it to where your suppressor hangs out the end. How much is an O2 NXF? Is an O2 NXS worth trigger? Are you talking about the Nissan or the NSX car, Acura? I mean, those Acuras are pretty sweet cars if you're talking about the NSX Acura. Those are pretty cool cars. Common word you can't spell. This YouTube's asking me like, hey, add a Q&A sticker. I was screwing around. Yes, the Honda. Is it the Honda NSX? I thought it was. Well, it's the Acura. I think Acura makes the NSX. But yeah, I mean, they're really cool cars. I rode in an old one. I can't remember what year it was, but it's a pretty cool car. Hello, Abigail. How are you? Dexter is in the house. Solente. Of course, you know, Acura is Honda, and then Infiniti is Nissan. Handmade in Japan. It is a Honda, my favorite car I've driven too. Oh, I thought, okay. For some reason, I was thinking that was the Acura NSX. I thought it was going under the Acura name, but yeah, I know that Acura owns Honda, but I thought it was called the Acura NSX, not the Honda NSX. You know, it's just like I said, they own both the names. But that's really cool. Those are cool cars. I've only been in one. I didn't drive it. It was a guy that I knew, and he had it, and he had it all tricked out. Yeah, it does go into Acura here in the U.S., I think. Yeah. Okay. So if it is in Japan or something like that, I'm sure. You know, it's kind of like the Skylines. Oh, hang on. I missed one real quick. Young Gun says, stepped out on a break. Wanted to say hi, Big J. Also hope all is well. I'll watch a replay tomorrow, like always. Thanks, Young Guns. I appreciate you, brother. Here it was an Acura. Everywhere else is a Honda. I gotcha. Abigail says recovering. Apparently people think it's fine to walk into the store while sick and not cover their mouths when they cough. Yeah, that stuff is going around. Yeah, take care of yourself. Yeah, and I wanted to bring this chat up. I've had people reaching out to me, friends and stuff like that, and they're talking about, you know, I don't know if y'all have seen all this stuff, you know, there's a lot of people that aren't getting their EBT and their SNAP and, you know, their welfare and all this other stuff because the government shut down on November 1st. So a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, did you see all the videos where people are saying they're going to rob people in parking lots? And, you know, if you buy your groceries and you're pushing them out in the parking lot, putting them in your car, they're going to steal them from you out in the cart, or they're going to meet you at your car with them and stuff like that. I mean, stuff's getting weird. And it's been weird. So that's why I was saying keep your head on a swivel. Not trying to scare anybody, not trying to, you know, do all that stuff like the media is doing. I know that it's bad if a lot of people don't get those benefits. But I just want normal, law-abiding people to be aware. You know, just kind of look around, make sure, you know, you're paying attention, not playing on your phone like some people do. Honey and cough drops, yeah, keep at it. Pranic says I shop for my family. They're going to have a bad day. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, we get a lot of stuff delivered. So, I mean, hopefully they don't want to show up at my doorstep. Yeah, I agree with you, Dexter. Yep. Chaos is welcome by the far left. Yep, I agree with you. Arma says, starting a GoFundMe, no EBT for me next month. I got 10 kids and I don't want to work because I like spending time with them. Thank you. Oh, man. You got 10 baby daddies too, right, Armsman? Or 10 baby mamas in your case, I guess I should say. But yeah, it's almost like they're welcoming this kind of stuff. You know, they want to have chaos. You know, like I said, there's weird stuff that happens everywhere, not just with this situation, but there's weird stuff every day. What's up, DB? Did y'all see that lady who testified about losing her food and was like 350 pounds? Yeah, I did see that. She said, I got to feed my five. I went at 4 or 5 kids, and she said, I don't know how I'm gonna eat. And yeah, she could. I mean, like myself, I could go for a while without eating. So, the born again virgin, I know my worth. Yeah, I'm pure. Got 19 kids, never been touched. I also have tea, and my wife is at the liquor store, so I'm going to drink some hot toddies. There you go. There you go. There's nothing wrong with some hot toddies. When it's really cold, like if I'm not feeling feeling kind of cruddy, I'll spike my coffee. I'm not a huge coffee drinker, but when it's cold, I'll drink it. I'll spike my coffee with some goodies. So yeah, nothing wrong with a hot toddy for sure. Sometimes it'll cure you right up. Armstrong said, honestly, I think it's mostly talk. Might be a few incidents in certain cities, but just for the most part, just keep your head on a swivel. Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with that, Armsman. In a lot of the, blue cities, it could be kind of weird. I'm hoping, the crud doesn't come to the good areas or the nicer areas, but sometimes it does. But like I've always said, just keep your head on a swivel. There's people playing on their phones, run into poles, run into parked cars just because they're not paying attention. But you definitely don't want to be playing on your phone and walk to a car and there be a bunch of people there to take your shit. So. Rich B says all the Glocks sold out down that way, Big J. No, there's still some, from what I understand. But I know that they are selling a ton of them. So I know that they've done some changes, but man, they're definitely going to clean the shelves out with all these ones that they had. So definitely there's probably a little marketing ploy in there too for Glock. Get those old ones out. Braddock says, I don't look at Glocks. Yep. It's funny because this week, that's what I've been carrying is the Glock 19X with the Radian Ramjet on it. For a Glock, there's 2 that I really, really, really like. And that's that 17L and that 19X. I'm not a huge Glock fanboy, y'all know that, but I can appreciate them for what they are. Armstrong says, local gun store by me have a ton of Glocks on the shelf. Everyone ordered a bunch. Yeah, I think they loaded up on them. DB says, I've gotten a half a dozen Glocks. Ain't selling, but don't need any more. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I've got the 2 that I have. I don't need any more. Abigail says, I still need a Glock 20 and a 21. There you go. Lynn Holt says, I found something interesting. A SIG P250 compact and 45 ACP cheap. Man, I played with those 250s in the past. Those triggers are horrendous. I know they are what they are, but also those guns at one time going for 200 doll hairs. Armstrong says, upset that I passed on the Koa. Yeah, I probably should have grabbed a Koa. Ranger is in the house. Let's see, better late than never. What up, Big J in chat? We're doing well, sir. I hope you are too. I was gonna say, I gotta get all my wrenches in here, fight off the trolls. We got 19 people in, 6 thumbs up. So y'all smash that thumbs up. But yeah, I just want everyone to be safe. Don't put your wife and your kids out in some bad areas with just a chance of something to happen. I don't know if it will. Nobody can predict the future, but just be safe. Definitely be aware. Y'all see some chaos going on around your car. Don't go to your car. For women, don't go out there and just act like nothing's wrong. Arnsman saying change the trigger. I think Callaway made one for it. Yeah, I know there was some kind of a kit that would make it better. But it's still a pretty, it's not a perfect trigger by any means. Honestly, wouldn't want a semi-auto. Might as well get a Sky CP2 at that point. It's cheaper and the trigger is just as bad. Yeah, I mean double action trigger. Yeah, the trigger is pretty stout. On a Sky, man, those things are made out of pot metal and freaking old license plates, sardine cans or something, because those Skies are horrendous. I don't even know if they make them anymore. I mean, those things are so shitty. I bought one when they first came out because they had a deal also. If you bought it and it was stolen out of your car, they would give you your money back and, all this other stuff. But they don't have that anymore, but they did when I bought mine. Lynn Holt says, hi, this one already had it. The barrel, another frame. I could get rid of my horde of 40 Smith & Wesson. There you go. Yeah. Skies are pretty bad. Oh, Sky, yeah. They were out of Florida. Sky went out of business either last year or early this year. Yeah. My local, Texas Gun Experience had a few of them in stock. They had like pink one, a glitter one, they had all these different colors of them. So I thought they went out of business, and their magazines were shit too. They made their own magazines supposedly, and they were crap. This is a staggered, what was it, a stagger stack? 10 round mag or something. They weren't far from Kel-Tec. Okay. Yeah, I thought they were in Florida. The firearm of the woke. Had the little finger grooves in it for your pleasure. They were ribbed for your pleasure. If I want a different color combination, I just paint a Glock frame. Yeah. I mean, people are weird about painting their guns, man. I've got a bunch of spray painted guns, but some people won't paint their guns. I purchased one to support a local company. Lessons learned. Yeah, mine took a big shit. Print, not paint. Gotcha. Yeah, but some people are very weird about painting their guns. Like they won't, if they buy a rifle, they will not paint it. Lynn Holt says, okay, so how many here own a sub 2000? I have shot them. I do not own one, but I've shot the original one, and then I shot, I think, the Gen 2. I haven't shot the one that turns, where your optic, like you pull it out and turn it. I haven't shot that one yet when you fold it. But I mean, I actually know a couple of people who have them and really like them. DB says half my rifles are rattle can jobs. Abigail says I paint my rifles and shotguns. Never felt the need to paint my pistol. Yeah, I know a guy that does paint his pistols. I mean, I've Cerakoted my pistols, but I've never spray painted a pistol. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I've just never spray painted a pistol. But I've got several rifles that are spray painted, even expensive ones. I haven't painted the Lancer because it's all carbon fiber. I won't paint it because it won't adhere. Armsman says, I've heard the Brownell's Aluminhide spray is pretty solid and durable. I haven't tried that. I've spray painted a bunch of them, and then like when they chip off and wear off, I just spray paint them again. So I've got a couple that have like a lot of spray paint. But yeah, I've got 2 up here that are spray painted. And then one was already Cerakoted when I got it. And then I had one Cerakoted, a custom color, this one right here. I'm not going to touch it. But that one's spray painted, and the one above it does have some spray paint on it. Where are you moving to, Abigail? Arms said I paint my kids' bikes. I used to paint bicycles way back in the day when I was young. Man, speaking of that, I don't know the name of them. I can't remember the name, but you would drive it when you were a little kid, and it had these two things, and the back would turn. What the hell was the name of those things? It was like a Hot Wheel, and you would drive it, and you could do power slides and stuff. And I was like, man, we need those things for adults. Those would be badass. I can't remember the damn name of those things, but I had them when I was a kid. I had like 3 or 4 of them. And I tore the wheel because the wheel would, skid up. Hulk machine? No, it was called something else. They did commercials on them and stuff. They did have a Hulk one, but they were called something else. I can't remember the damn name of them. But man, if we had those things for adults, like bigger versions, heavier duty versions, that'd be fun as hell. I saw some people that were racing those down this big old freaking hill, and they were on these things and they were doing that shit. 1 big wheel and 2 small. Yep, that was it. Green machine. That's it. Razor for the win. What's up, Razor? How you been, man? Yeah, green machines. That was it, Razor. Awesome. Green machine. Razor for the win. How you been, Razor JB? Long time no see, sir. Hope you're doing well. But man, green machines were the shit back in the day. Those things were so fun. I wore out the front wheel on like 2 or 3 of those things where it was like no wheel. It was just the sides, and it would just start collapsing, so I'd have to buy another one. But my parents bought me, my grandparents bought me one, my mom bought me one. I mean, I think I had like 3 of them at one time. Those things were fun as hell. But if they had them for big guys, for adults, that'd be really cool. And hell, somebody probably has one. Huffy still sells them? Oh, okay. But yeah, but they're for little kids. Yeah, and if my big ass sat on one of those things, I'd snap it in half. I probably couldn't even get the front wheel turning. My big ass on it. Yeah, Northeast, cold, okay. They built a motorcycle into one. Yeah, I've seen those 3-wheel motorcycles. I'm not a fan. Trikes, I guess they're called trikes. Minimal tweakers. Man, there's tweakers everywhere. I haven't been to Oklahoma in a long time. I don't see a lot of, I know they're here, but I don't go to downtown Dallas a lot. But, man, in our area, I don't really see them, but I know that they're out there. But yeah, y'all definitely keep your head on the swivel. Just be prepared, just be aware of your surroundings. Like I said, I'm not trying to scare anybody or say it's going to happen, but you just never know. I kept breaking mine. My dad used to get so pissed off at me. It was fun watching him get upset and buy me a new one. I used to take mine apart, put it back together. It's plastic, so when you put the front wheel on, you had those little 2 screws that would screw the front wheel on. Man, I'd put grease in there. I'd try to make it faster. I'd do all kinds of crap. Tractor Supply has an electric green machine? Oh, damn. We might have to go buy us one. Can you see our old big old asses out there racing around on those things? Let's see here. Ranger says, I hope I don't get you into trouble, but saw a group that said transfer trikes. Okay, whatever. Abigail says, I live in Minnesota. For 14 months, the winter dropped to below 25 with the wind chill, and the snow was up to my waist. Holy crap. I used to my old home base was in Wisconsin, and I used to go there a lot for my work way back in the day. And man, I did not. I mean, when you see snow freaking 12 feet high, I'm like, what the hell? It's crazy. Yeah, I was gonna say, they got those green machines nowadays. That'd be cool. But I wanted to get y'all's opinion. Oh, YouTube algorithm, that's what I meant for trouble. Yeah, I'm sure I will be. DB says, I'm heading to Maine next week. Okay. I've been to Maine maybe 3 times. I've gone there to help for some blitzes, and I worked with Mopar there back in the day. I mean, it was okay, you know. Had some nice people that I worked with. I've never, like been there for vacation or anything, so I don't know. Where the wind hurts your face, yeah, where you got like chapped face, that's not fun. Yeah, you look like you're got those big rosy cheeks. I mean, it gets pretty cold here in Texas too, especially when I used to go to West Texas, man. It'd get pretty cold. I'd be like, damn, I don't even want to get out of the truck. Also, I have got, they should be coming maybe this week or definitely next week. I've got all the accessories coming in for the new truck. I've got about $7,500 worth of accessories coming in for the truck. So I'll be sticking all that on next week. I mean, definitely what I can, with my leg, I'm still going to press through it, but I might have a friend come over and just help me lift some of the stuff just so I can bolt it on. But Ranger says, I'm heading to Tennessee in January to help my best friend stand up a homestead around Knoxville. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's definitely probably going to be cold. I saw a blurb. The guy did Vice Grip Garage messed up. Got life in prison? Vice Grip Garage got life in prison for what? Is that who you're talking about? Holy crap. Armsman, listen to that. It gets cold here in Florida for 2 days. But yeah, so I'm going to stick the accessories on. I got some really cool accessories coming in. So also one of the vendors I work with is going to do some stuff to my truck. So I've got to drive to Oklahoma to have them put on their stuff. So it's going to bump up the sound system, so to say. So that'll be pretty cool. But yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I was out there with the Makitas running the Impact. Man, I'm loving that thing. God, that is my favorite freaking, I cannot believe I did not buy that thing before. I don't know where the hell I've been. I've had Impact drills, and I've had Impacts, of course, in pneumatic. I don't know why I haven't had a 1/4 inch Impact before. What's up, Pop Doctor? How are you, man? Pop Doctor put out a good video the other day. I watched it on his Langdon Tactical, or I guess Trigger in a Bag, on his Beretta. So y'all go over and check it out. I guess it'll drop in the 20s and 30s in Jacksonville for a few hours in a day in a 2-week period. Yeah. I mean, I've spent a lot of time in Florida in the past. We used to go there every year for vacation. We'd go down there and hang out. Yeah, but we've got some good video guys in here. We got Trigger Bar in the house, Pop Doctor. So y'all check out all the other creators in here. And I want to say something. I had a chance to go shoot today, and I was just like, not that it's bad to go shoot. I always enjoy it. But man, I was just like, I didn't go. So don't hate on me. Because, there are some I want to shoot for sure. And here's ones that I want to shoot, because I haven't shot in a while. So y'all let me know your thoughts. I want to shoot the Rock 5.7. I want to shoot the Shadow 2 Carry, or excuse me, the Shadow 2 Compact, not the Carry. I don't own the Carry, because the decockers get in my way. So I want to shoot the Shadow 2 Compact. I want to shoot the Staccato C2. I want to shoot my MPA DS9 hybrid. I mean, there's a lot of guns I want to go shoot, but it was just like today, and I had time, but I was just like, ugh, I just couldn't get it. I just couldn't get motivated. I mean, I know, don't hate on me, trigger bar. It was just one of those days, man. I was just like, ugh. Yeah, I got the full size 5.7. No, Pop Doctor, these are guns I own. I've got videos on them. I just want to reshoot them again. You know, I've got my office kind of set up, not 100% yet, but I've got a lot of the stuff set up, and I just want to pull it out and go shoot it. Throw it in my Lynx bag and go to the range and shoot it. And I could have today. I had time, but I was just like, you know, it was just one of those days where I just couldn't get motivation to do it. You know, and I don't know why. No, I've got a bunch of shit, Pop Doctor, I need to go shoot. Arza says, I don't know about this guy. Big J, we are losing the pew pew guy. No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Pop Doctor says, had such a hard time motivating myself to go this weekend. Short day at work tomorrow, going to sneak away. Yeah, and I could still go tomorrow. You know, I've got stuff I've got to do. I've got conference calls in the morning, and then after that I could head out. And maybe I will. But just today, I just couldn't get motivation to do it, and it was bad. I was just like, man, I need to go. I even charged up my little microphones and everything. They were fully charged, but I just went ahead and hit them for a little while, plugged them in, went through some of my bags. Range time is very therapeutic, and then once I get there, I always have a great time. But it was just, you know, I've got so many that I want to shoot. I'm like, I'm not taking all of them. You know, so I'm trying to kind of limit myself to like maybe 2, maybe 3 at a time, so I can really focus on shooting them and enjoying them. You know, but I really want to take the 5.7 and have my wife go and shoot it suppressed and unsuppressed. Because man, the 5.7 just really has me more and more and more intrigued, and I'm just like, would I carry that? And then when I put the the TLR9 on it, I'm like, man, this is the perfect light for this gun. You know, 1,000 lumens. It's not monster candela because it's a small bezel, but I mean, I was playing around with through the house with it, you know, going around, and man, I was like, this is a cool gun, a lot of fun. Dexter says, Ranger, I feel that no motivation is more often than it should be. Lynn says, further digging on the VGG AI generated crap, I saw it and didn't know if it was real or not. Yeah, that AI stuff is getting crazy. I'm like, wow, it looks so damn real. And I'm like, is that real or is it AI? And then I really check it out and I'm like, oh, that's AI. Yeah, Pop Doctor says, you know, the 5.7 is cool, but it's loud. You know, and it is. It's very loud, but it is fun to shoot suppressed and non-suppressed. You know, and the pop doesn't bother me, the loudness. I mean, I shoot a lot of comped guns and stuff like that, and they are louder. And I will say this, that P10F that Impact Machine did for me and the P09, those things are freaking money. I mean, when they did the comps and the ports on the P09, and then on the P10F, they did the porting. I mean, that thing is money. I mean, it's awesome. Not that it had a lot of pop before, but now it's even flatter, so it's even more fun to shoot. Ours says, I hate cleaning them now. I used to love coming home, cleaning and polishing. These days, not so much, only when it's new, maybe after 3 or 4 range sessions. Hell, I don't clean guns. I just oil them. I don't clean guns. I've got 2011s. They still run great, as long as they're wet, or, you know, somewhat wet. I don't clean guns after every range session. Back in the day when I was new, and, you know, I'd go shoot them, and then I'd come home and clean them and do all that anal stuff. Now, man, not now. I go shoot them, get them dirty, put some lube on them, chunk them away. I don't worry about it. Dexter says, I like the whole idea of this ported slide incorporation over the thread I feel. Yeah, I mean, I've had both. On some guns, I like the comp on the end because you get more velocity. You don't lose any velocity. When you do comp it, or excuse me, when you do port it, you do lose some velocity, not major velocity, unless it's a really short gun. But, I mean, Pop Doctor says I got through 1,000 rounds on a Nighthawk without cleaning, just oil at 500. I was impressed. Yeah, and I mean, that's what I do. If you just run them, with some oil on them, I mean, they'll run. I've ran some of my 2011s. I've ran them 2,000 rounds or so without cleaning them, but I do keep them a little wet. Not so it's slinging off, but I do keep them a little wet. Yeah, Ranger, there is one. Yeah, that's what she said. Wet is mo better. Yes, sir, it is. Yep. Got to keep them wet. That's what she said. And this whiskey goes way too fast. But yeah, I'm actually very interested in the 5.7. When I'm considering carrying it, I just want to prove the gun out. I don't have enough rounds through it yet. But, I wouldn't feel underpowered, I guess, with, 24 rounds on deck. I mean, that's a pretty good setup right there in 5.7. So I do want to see what y'all think about 5.7. Would y'all carry it, or are you kind of like, what do y'all think about 5.7? I want to know your honest opinion. Carry or no carry? Dexter says, Big Johnson, have you checked out the Shield Carry Comp 4-inch? Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. Not saying anything's wrong with it. I just have, I have so many freaking firearms right now. There's not enough in it to make me just want to jump into that, honestly. Dexter says 23 plus 1 is nothing to sneeze at. I don't think it is either. Yeah, I saw that, Lynn, on their Glocks, that new porting thing they're doing, 10-day turnaround. Ranger 10 says, I'd carry it. Hoodat says, I love an FN. I love for everyday carry. Yeah, I mean, I had the original FN way back in the day, the FN 5.7. And honestly, this is just my opinion. The trigger wasn't that great. The gun wasn't that great. It wasn't optic ready. And granted, I owned the FN, so I shot it. But that was back when the freaking box of ammo for like 50 rounds was like $65. So it was crazy to shoot it. But now with the Rock, I'm like, man, I actually like the Rock better than my old FN 509 or FN 5.7. Now, I know they have the Gen 3. I haven't shot it yet. It looks pretty cool, but man, it's like $1,500, $1,400, and I'm like, yes, they will port a Glock 45, Rich B. Impact Machine will port a Glock 45. What's up, Shasta? I watched one of your videos today, buddy. He said, I carry my M&P 5.7 every day. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I watched one of your videos today. Yeah, and I shoot the 5.7. I like the width of it. The grip. It is skinny, which is not a big deal to me. I mean, people freaked out when I shot the CZ45, or excuse me, the 97B, because they're like, man, that grip is so huge. Not for my hands, but for the average person, it probably is. But some of the 5.7s, even like my original FN 5.7, man, the grip was chunky. I could still shoot it fine. There's no recoil. It's a 5.7. But, I really do like what they did with the Rock. And of course, I bought it. I didn't get it for free or anything, but Pop Doctor says, I think in terms of ballistic, 5.7 is similar to a hot defensive 9mm, and I would say they are flatter shooting. Big guns, though, not for everyone. Yeah, and I wouldn't have a problem carrying this gun. I mean, I carry a lot of big guns. I like a long gun, and I know you need it for velocity, for the length. Yep, I have not shot the 3rd generation. Houdat says I have a Glock 40 by the bedside. The FN I have is Cherry. Yep. Armson said, honestly, the 5.7 trigger is horrible. Mine's really not that bad. It's actually way better than a stock Glock. Now that's just a, sample of one. I haven't shot a bunch of rocks, but my trigger's not that bad. It's actually a pretty decent trigger. Now, could I use a tricked out trigger? Yeah, hell. Y'all know I'm not afraid to trick out a trigger. Dexter says, I just saw a video comparing all the 5.7s. Yep, there's tons of videos out there. I have a modified trigger. Yeah, I know people freak out with some of the triggers I have. They're like, that thing's 2.5 pounds? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh my God, I'd never carry that. And I'm like, don't put your finger on the bang switch. Keep your booger hook off of it, and you're good to go. So, James Ruth's video, I don't agree. The 5.7 has a terrible trigger. Rock and M&P is way better. M&P is the best shooting of them. I've not shot all the T-Sauce, but no way I'm carrying a Kel-Tec. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with that Kel-Tec. Ranger says I have an FN 509 and 510. I need to add the 5.7 to it. I actually like the FN. I have the 509. It's a great gun. Now it's been bulletproofed by Apex. Everything in it's Apex. Matter of fact, Armsman, I need to get you that stuff. Remind me. I've got your mags laid out, so I need to get the other stuff. Trigger Bar says, Big J, FN 5.7 trigger is bad. PSA Rock has a better trigger than the FN 5.7 trigger. Gun, not the round. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I was not a fan of the FN trigger. Mine was not good. The original one. And it was the FDE and all that other stuff. It was a Gen 1, but that trigger was not that great. My Rock 5.7 is way better. And of course the striker fired, I get it. But, Arsma says, anyone ever seen the G17X? Yeah, we talked about that earlier today. Armsman and I did. I had never seen one. I did not know they existed. Done. But I'm actually, like I said, I want my wife to shoot the Rock 5.7, see what she thinks about it. If she likes it and she can shoot it good, that might be her bedside gun now. I might buy another one. Because it is a very, very fun gun to shoot. And I did get that, defensive ammo, so I was going to load up some mags, see if it liked it. It's the Fiocchi, I can't remember, Trigger Bar, you would probably remember. I know it's the 40 grain VMAX. You gave it its blessing, so I ordered it. And I think I got 400 or 450 rounds of it. I bought quite a bit of it. It was on that sale that I had sent you way back when. So, but, I might consider carrying that, but I need to get a good holster with the TLR9 for the Rock. And Armsman doesn't make one, but I really want to get one, and I might consider carrying it. But I need to test it out, make sure it's good to go with all that. Trigger Bar says, yes, the Fiocchi Hyper Performance. I think that is it. Yeah, it's the TLR9. And man, that thing is money. I sent you a picture, Armsman. But I'm telling you, the rock with the TLR9 is money. I took it off of my MPA to try it on that, and I was like, oh my God, the thing is super thin and sleek. I don't have the big bezel. It's awesome. I'm like, that's the perfect light for it. But they don't make the TLR9. Now, I don't care, but I was trying to find the TLR9 in FDE, and I'm sure Streamlight would send me one. But that I didn't see that they even had one. So I just put my black one on there, and I'm like, yeah, this thing's money. A&R, yeah, A&R does have one, but I don't know if they have one for the TLR9. I did find a company, it was called Nerd. I've never heard of those holsters, but Nerd does have one for the 5.7 Rock that covers the 5.7 barrel, threaded, mine's threaded. Says it does cover that, and it's the TLR9, but it's called Nerd holsters. I've never even heard of them, but I was looking around on Google, and they showed one that they had for the TLR9. I just don't know anything about them. I don't know if they're good or not. Yeah, and I love the TLR9 on all my 5-inch 2011s and 1911s. Trigger Bar says, I have a Nerd holster. It works fine for the rock. Okay, yeah, that's the one that I saw. So I did see the Nerd had one for the TLR9 for the 5.7, and I was like, oh, damn, they make one. And you can get it in camo and black and all these different colors. I think it was like 85 bones, you know, which isn't bad. But, you know, I was like, damn, that might be a cool gun because it's super slim. Shasta Bean says the Ruger 5.7 isn't too bad, and compatible mags with the LC is good, though the Rock uses same mags too. The Smith & Wesson is much nicer. Shooting in tempo barrel induces a less bit pressure on brass. Okay, yeah, because I don't reload. I think you do, Shasta Bean, and some other guys do. Or I'm assuming you do. I don't know. But for me, I wouldn't be reloading. But, you know, like I said, I was just looking for a good holster with the TLR9. Ruger can use Rock mags, but Rocks can't use Ruger mags. And that's what I've heard. Trigger Bar told me that. So that is cool. You know, so. But like I said, I'm really intrigued with the 5.7. I mean, you know, way back when I had the FN, I was like, oh, you know, it's just, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, it really wasn't thought after, you know, like carrying it. But, you know, the more and more I play around with the 5.7 and I check on it and stuff like that, I'm like, this might be kind of a fun thing, you know, to try. But I just want to prove it out first. Trigger Bar says Shasta has amazing testing on 5.7 rounds if you want to see what the round can do. Multiple holes in one and not in the other. Yeah, like I said, that gun shoots so damn flat. I mean, there's no recoil. I mean, and that's why I think my wife would really enjoy it, because I'm telling you, she is a boss with a 22. Like when she runs my 22 Taurus competition, she slays with that thing. She can tear it up. She's just like ripping the center out of the target. So I'm like, I want to put you behind a 5.7 because I'm telling you, I think that could be her gun. And if I needed to buy another Rock, I would buy another Rock. But, and of course on that deal where I get all those mags, but, I mean, of course I've got, what do I have? I think I've got like 10 or 11 mags, for one right now. So pretty good there, but all power. Tim Sunglaze has twice recently been talking 5.7 and going to look to release a new load this year. That's cool. But like I said, I want her to shoot it suppressed and non-suppressed, because that could very well be her nightstand gun. Um, that's kind of funny because I want to see. I really have been wanting to ask this. What do people use for their nightstand guns? Like, what is your gun for your nightstand gun? I'm just curious. I haven't asked that in 1,000 years, but I would be really, really curious. I mean, I have two. I don't know if y'all have asked, but I have two, believe it or not. What do you think my nightstand gun is? I really want to know if y'all can guess what my nightstand guns are. Dexter says I'd be torn between the Rock and the Smith & Wesson. Yeah. Dexter says I should use my P09. Lake Ozark guy says FNX 45. That's a good one. Armsman says PDP 5-inch TLR1. Damn, there you go. Dexter, FNX 45. Wow. Trigger Bar says my nightstand gun is my Staccato C2, and my wife is the MP57. Beyond the nightstand is my 300 Blackout in 10.5. Okay. And here's another thing, and I could do this to somebody who would reload it. When I go shoot the 5.7, if somebody wants it, I will send it to them. You know, whether it's Shasta or Trigger Bar or whomever. But when I go shoot the 5.7, if you want me to save the brass, I will save it and send it to you. If somebody wants it, if they're going to reload it. Now mine is a Rock, so I don't know if that's bad or not for the reloading crew. But if y'all want it, I will save the brass and pick it up and throw it in the bag. So if somebody wants it, let me know, and I'll send it to you. So when I go shoot it and have my wife go shoot it, we'll probably shoot a lot of rounds. So, Hardcast 5.7. Yeah, but damn, now I gotta go to tea. Drink all that good whiskey. U.S. Navy vet says my nightstand gun is a Canik SFT Pro. Trigger Bar says Big J, Big J, it has to be a 2011 MPA. It's not. Y'all are gonna freak out when I tell you what my nightstand gun is. Y'all are gonna be like, what? But it's not an MPA. Tattoo says, hey man, first time here, pretty rifles you got there. Thank you, Tattoo, I appreciate you, brother. Pop Doctor says it's probably a Glock 19. Lake Ozark guy says a 12 gauge. Okay, Armsman wins. He says Jimenez 32. Damn, look at, Lynn Holt wins. Now he wins with part of it. He says a P10C 19 rounds with an Olight and a Holosun 407K. Current to reload is a Wilson SFX. Trigger Bar says 97B on your nightstand, 300 Blackout for Clyde. Okay, I'll release it right now, but I am changing it. I'm just going to let you know I'm going to change my nightstand gun. But, and Armsman says P10F. And Trigger Bar says, oh dang, it's a P10C. It is the P10C. It is a P10C. It's one of my two P10Cs. And it does have a Streamlight TLR7A on it. So it is a P10C for my nightstand gun. And then it is a 300 Blackout for the other gun. So I do have two. One is sitting right on the nightstand. The other one is tilted right next to the nightstand, and it is a 300 Blackout. So it is the opposite of this one, the second one up. So it is a custom fire for effect, 300 Blackout. But man, I love the P10C. I absolutely love the P10C. But yeah, Armsman, the P10F, I love the P10F. Do not get me wrong. But it is a P10C with the 19 round mag in it. So it does have the bigger boy in it. So it's 19 plus 1. But it is a P10C. I shoot those really, really good with the light on it in a holster. I've got it to where when I pull it, the holster pops off. It's got a string on it attached to the hook, and it's one of your holsters, of course, and shoots really great. And then I've got a 300 blackout for the big boy. I'm a 30 cal guy. Nothing wrong with 5.56, but I'm a 30 cal guy. No, it's not ported. This one is not ported. Y'all haven't seen this one in a long, long time. This is one that hasn't been on the channel in years. It is milled. It's the original Gen 1. Great gun, but it has has a silver slide with a black grip. It does have a Holosun 507C on it, the original 507C, but it is going to get changed. And I'll let y'all guess what the home defense gun is going to be changed to. So y'all can guess what it's going to be changed to, because I had to test it out. What base plates give it the 19? Not sure on that one. Anyone familiar with Gerson? I'm thinking about getting one back and forth with it though. Yeah, Gersons are pretty decent. Armsman says I love the ported P10C. Yeah, Dexter, it is going to get changed to the P10F. I had to prove it out with the comps or the ports cut in it, and it's money. So that will be the new home defense gun. Is going to be the CZ P10F. That will be the new home defense gun. So that thing is money. Thanks, Pop Doctor. I appreciate you, brother. You know, I wanted to prove the P10F out since I had it ported, and it's been awesome. It shoots flat. It shoots everything. I've shot FMJ through it. I've shot hollow points through it. I've shot 124, 115, 148. It shoots everything through it. I haven't had one problem, so that will be the new one. Yeah, but Tattoo, here's the thing. If I bought a T-Sauce or something else, this is just my opinion. I can only speak for myself. If I bought any of those guns, I would change the internals to EGW, to where you're having your better ignition kit for your sear and your firing pins and things like that. So that's what I would change to. So if you do that, that way it's just a little more reliable. Not saying anything's bad about that, but that's what I would do. So, and by the time you do that, at the end of the day, you could have a Gerson. You could have it tricked out with EGW kit. If you're never going to sell it, great. But if you ever want to sell it, at the end of the day, it's just a Gerson. So you're not going to get that money back out of it, where you would with the Staccato. So that's just my 2 cents. Lynn Holt says, I'm liking what Kimber is doing right now with 2K11s. I think it is the first flush, no porting, no comp. I mean, I agree. I think Kimber's doing some good stuff right now. I mean, their guns are looking really good. They've got different options for people to choose, different finishes, which I think is a really good thing. It's definitely a plus. So nothing wrong with that. And like I said, I like the old Kimbers way back in the day. They were great guns. Then Kimber had a little flub, but I think they're pretty much getting all that stuff locked down. You know, I'm all about, if you ever have to sell something, Tattoo, if you ever have to sell something, you're going to get more money if it's a, reputable, big name brand. Because if you buy a Gerson for, say, $700 or $700 hairs, and you go to resell it, you're going to get half that. It just doesn't hold a resale value. But if you're never going to sell it, who cares? Doesn't matter. Dexter says, what base plates on the P10C? I had these direct milled, so there's no plate. But if you do run a plate on, like on my P10F, I've got the Acro plate, and it is from Aimpoint. So it is their plate, and it will fit the MPS and the Acro P2. Really wanting a smooth comp. Yeah, and I've got comps on my staccatos. I've got the, oh gosh, what's the name of them? It's a buddy of mine. Now, I don't think he makes them anymore, but it was the, god dang, what's the name of them? I can't even think. Threat Cadre comp. So I've got that on my C2 and my P, or my Staccato P. So I do run the comps on both those, and I really do like them. Yeah, and like I said, the Kimbers are making really nice guns. I mean, they look good. I like all the different options that they offer. They offer some really cool, different looks. So if you want a Kimber, get a Kimber. The Kimber does have, they do have some MIM parts in them. And I know MIM has came a long way, but I'm just an old school guy. I've had MIM parts that have broke in the past. I'm not saying the Kimbers will break. Please don't take it that way. But I'm just an old school tool steel guy. You change your guide rod with those. Those do come with the, they've got the good the good guide rods in them, so you don't have to worry with those. On the Staccato, you do get those as well. We've got 18 in and 18 thumbs up, man. Damn. It's the first time that's ever happened. Lynn Holt says, MIM, as far as the eye can see in a Kimber, 250 jelly bean solves that problem. Yeah, no, and I agree with that. I'm just an old school, and the old MIM, I know MIM has came a long way. Glock has MIM. I mean, FN, there's tons of companies that have MIM. But when it comes to a 1911 or 2011, in the past, I've had a lot of problems with MIM. So, it's just kind of burnt me. It's kind of like screw me once, screw me twice, I'm done. So I know MIM has came a long, long way. Yeah, and I've heard that with Kimber as well. I think they only have like maybe 4 or 5 MIM parts, but I'm just like, is that 4 or 5 potential issues? I mean, over a long period of time, because if you think about it, most people that buy these guns, they're shooting them maybe, 500 rounds a year, maybe. I mean, at some point, I'm shooting 500 rounds in a range session. So I just don't want to have any issues where I've had in the past. Tattoo says, all right, guys, heading out. Thanks for the info. We'll definitely check in when I see you. Nice to finally see someone on here talking about gun stuff or good stuff. Thank you, Tattoo. I appreciate you, brother. Have a great night. But it is 8:09. We've got 15 people in with 20 thumbs up. So I appreciate that very much. But yeah, I definitely want to get to the range, have my wife shoot the 5.7 just to see what she thinks about it. I'm going to have her shoot it suppressed, non-suppressed. And all I'm going to do is set it up, let her shoot it, see what she thinks about it, and just watch. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to say, hey, this is that. I'm just going to say, here's the gun, striker fire, I want you to rack it, I want you to shoot it, see what you think about it. And I'm going to let her decide what she likes. Because this one I would trust way, way, way more than a 22 because it is a center fire round versus a rim fire. So that's why I'm a little more intrigued with the 5.7. You know, I've shot them in the past, but I don't have a ton of experience like a lot of the people on this chat do. So, Lynn Holt said Jacob Gray is now making bar stock internals at $6,000. Jelly beans makes Atlas look cheap. Yeah, I mean, Jacob Gray has really came a long way. From their first one to the one they have out now, that Hex, man, that thing looks sweet. I mean, they're doing good stuff. Dexter says you want to see tech driving happen. Yeah, I mean, I want her to just, like, get after it and have a good time. That's what it's all about. And she enjoys 22, man. She loves 22. She can shoot a 9mm, but she's just like, you know, just a little bit offensive to her just because it's louder. Now, the 5.7 is not quiet. Don't get me wrong. But if I have to hook up the suppressor and just leave it like that, you know, and it works for her, so be it. But I do want to see her have a good time with it. But it is 8:11. We'll go to about 8:15. We'll go for a couple more minutes. Wonder when PSA will come out with a P90 answer. Supposedly they're coming out with it. That's that 5.7 PDW. I think that's going to be a cool option. It's kind of like on the Rock setup. It's supposed to take the Rock mags, so we'll see how it works. If it works and it works well, you know, I have no problem purchasing one if it works well. And she could have a PDW. I'm not opposed to that at all. I mean, if you could pop off many rounds and take down your threat, that's not a problem with me. So they're supposed to come out with it this coming year, I think, like first quarter of 2026, I think. So we'll see if it happens or not. And I don't know what the price point's going to be, but we'll just go from there. Is Primary Arms going to release the TX1 dot? I thought they did. The HT, I thought it was Houston, Texas. That's what the HT stands for. I thought they released that, but I haven't seen any more of them. You know, I'll be going to Houston soon, so I'm going to swing by there and talk to those guys. Not to try to get a dot, but I mean, I was just going to go by and talk to them and see what's going on. You know, I'm a, whatever you call it, influencer for Primary Arms. I just don't push them. I mean, I love their products, don't get me wrong. But I just don't throw a bunch of stuff out for you guys. Maybe I should, you know, I don't know. I mean, they've got them out in the wild, supposedly. People have been playing with them and testing them, and they like them. But they're a lot. So, but they are all American made, Texas made, supposedly. So, but I did want to get some more information on those. So, but it is 8:13. We will start shutting this down. About 8:15, we'll go ahead and let it go. But if y'all have any more quick questions, we'll answer them real fast. And then I'm going to go out and check on my wife in the garage. I've already put up the rack, the impact gun earlier. So make sure she's good to go and doesn't need anything anymore. So if y'all have any more questions, we will answer them really quickly. If not, we will shut this down. So y'all just let me know. But maybe I'll get to go up there tomorrow and shoot a little bit. I'll go through those. Oh, also, I do want to shoot the Shadow System CR920XP. I've been carrying that as well. Not this week, it was the 19X, but prior, I think it was last week, I carried the the CR920XP. Really like that gun. I like it a lot. But I want to shoot it some more as well. Just to get even more rounds through it. You know, I've got I think I've got like 12 or 1300 rounds through that. I've got to get my book, but I've got it all written down in my book, my documentation book. But so far it's been great. I only had that one little hiccup through break-in. But yeah, thank you, Lynn Holt. I appreciate you. But like I was saying before, kind of the title of this chat is just kind of keep your head on a swivel. We don't know if anything's going to pop off. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but just kind of, be aware of your surroundings. Look around. If something looks weird, don't walk into it. Um, if your wife is kind of like, somebody's at our car, whatever, just, have her stay in the store. Just, kind of be aware of what's going on because we don't know. We don't need to put our wives or daughters or anybody in a weird situation. If you need to go to the store, go to the store. If you can get it delivered to your house, get it delivered to your house. Don't put yourself in a situation. I'll just be honest with you. When I walk to my door, I'm pretty much packing. So that's the way it's set up. And we've got a big door, and then we've got a little small door where I can open it up and just look through it. Some people don't have that, but I do. And I've used it before. So, stuff delivered, I'm opening up the door. Hey, there are any vehicles out there? So I can look on the cameras and kind of see what's going on out there. So you just never know. Not that I'm a recluse and I'm trying to hide, not about that, but you just don't know nowadays. But I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have a wonderful evening. And like we're saying now, if you haven't reached out to a family member or a friend or an acquaintance that could be going through some weird stuff, please reach out to them. Just let them know you're thinking about them. Say hi. Hey, you're here for them. If they've got a problem, please try to help them out. We're all trying to get better, trying to help our fellow man and fellow woman out. Just stuff's weird. So, check in on people, make sure they're okay. That's what it's all about. But I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have a wonderful night. And remember, an unarmed nation is a very weak nation. So we've all got to carry on. Thanks, everyone. Y'all take care. Have a great night.